3, 2, 1. Back here on this Saturday morning, Steve Kashul, Dr. Brian Cole. Our website is sportsmedicineweekly.com. It is our Sports Medicine Weekly show, Chicago and the Midwest premier sports medicine program. Dr. Cole, you ready to have some fun in the holidays and eat a little bit? And you work out a lot in the holidays? I mean, on a Thanksgiving day, will you wake up and begin your day with a workout in that Dr. Cole house gym?
I just want to know if you just heard crunching, because I was just eating a nut. Did you hear that?
Yeah, healthy nut.
I can hear it. It's amazing how you can even pull away from the microphone and still hear yourself crunch.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on.
It's a healthy fat.
Do I work out over the holidays?
Yeah, I got Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's coming up on Thursday. Will you work out? Will you wake up with Emily Cole and work out at 4 in the morning?
I won't do it at 4. I don't do 4 in the morning. I do 6. But it's a brutal time for a lot of people, because that's between Thanksgiving and Christmas, just given all the parties and things, is everyone sort of worries about what's going to happen between now and then. In fact, the people who I train with, they have a number of trainers. They always do a contest at a time to who can get the greatest reduction in their BMI, their body mass index, over that time, because just to help people swing the other direction. So I'm pretty conscientious, but still, it is for most of us, it's a time because there's so much social. There's more alcohol. There's more sweets. The stuff is everywhere. I can tell you at the hospital, for every nursing station, the lounges, people, they're very generous. They're thankful. They're sending these gift baskets. It's pretty much an endless supply of stuff.
One quick story, all right, before we get on to our next guest.
Yeah.
I had the healthiest Christmas last year I ever had in my life, because I was having a colonoscopy the next day.
Christmas?
No, the day after Christmas I had my colonoscopy, so I had to do the, what do they call it, the cleanse and all that.
Yes.
On Christmas Day. We went to, 3 different parties with my family, sweets and turkey and dressing and vegetables.
You must have been just the greatest conversationalist at the party. That's
nothing.
My guess.
I had clear tea, unsweetened clear tea, and this, the prep that they do on Christmas Day, because I had to get it in before my deductible, and I had to have the colonoscopy.
That's a good time to plan
on December 26th. Never again in my life. It was the worst Christmas ever. I was dying watching these people eat. It was crazy. All right, let's talk about nutrition. But I'm glad I had the colonoscopy. I highly recommend it.
Yep.
Nutritional strategies on getting through the holiday season without gaining weight. Who's better than our board-certified integrative health coach and eating psychology teacher, the one and only Karen Malkin from Chicago, Glencoe, and Tucson, Arizona. She keeps expanding her cities that she has houses in. No, I'm kidding. But Karen, thanks so much for joining us here. No one better to talk about some of the best tips for combating holiday stress. How are you?
Doing well. Happy holidays.
You like my stories?
I do. You make me laugh.
Okay, so strategies. What are your best tips for getting through the holiday stress, first of all?
Yeah, the stress is big, not only because of the parties and the alcohol and the food and the snacks, but a lot of people also feel very lonely during the holidays, and there's a lot of pressure for gifts and family time and commitments with your time on top of working through the holidays and having all these parties. And so, I would recommend to meditate, but that sounds easy, but it's very difficult for many people. So I typically will say, start with your breath. It's free. You always have your breath with you, and it only takes a minute to do 5 deep breaths. It's also physically impossible to feel stress while you're deep breathing. So if you start to feel stress, pause, take a break, and take 5 deep breaths several times throughout the day, especially before you eat. And we can talk about how that helps with cravings.
So Karen, I had this breath technique that was taught to me that to really stress to completely get your diaphragm to move, to maximally move, where you breathe out, you lay on your back, you breathe, sort of do a reverse, the curve in your spine to engage your core, and you breathe out all the way with an open mouth, like further than you would ever do normally for breathing out. You follow me? So
completely exhale.
Say that again.
You completely exhale through your mouth.
So, it sounds kind of trivial, and you're like, oh, just take a breath. But the reality is there's probably a great way to do it to get all the stuff out. And as you say, hard to feel stress when you're focusing on that.
It is. And, Dr. Andrew Weil, one of my mentors, he teaches all of his practitioners, all of his patients about the 4-7-8 breath. And that's another breath technique to do 4 cycles. And he recommends you ideally sit with your back straight, and you place the tip of your tongue against the ridge tissue just behind your upper front teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And you inhale through your nose to a count of 4, and then you exhale, you hold your breath to a count of 7, and then you exhale completely through your mouth with like a whooshing sound with your tongue behind the roof of your mouth.
You have a video of this?
8. Is
there a video of this?
Oh, yeah, YouTube.
Yeah.
Dr. Weil, 4-7-8 breaths. I mean, we've done this on the air before.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to take the time.
Yeah, no problem. That's good.
Just want to count of 4, hold to a count of 7, exhale to a count of 8. 4 cycles. I've done this with many, many, many of my clients. I often start our sessions with the 4-7-8 breath. I can't tell you the difference they feel in their stress response and their ability to think more clearly. Because when you're not feeling stressed, you're thinking clearly. And so my students can think clearly. You can think more clearly when you're operating, because take a few deep breaths before surgery, gets you out of the stress response. It's good. It's good stuff, and it only takes a minute.
You're listening to Karen Malkin, board-certified integrative health and eating psychology coach with Steve Kashul and Dr. Brian Cole, Sports Medicine Week. All right, Karen, here we go. Thanksgiving is Thursday. Starting around Thanksgiving through the new year, most of us put on excess weight, and they really feel hungry and unhappy about how we feel. Can we still enjoy the holidays and avoid weight gain?
Yes. So I've got 6 tips for this. The first one I say is, I call it stay awake at the plate. And that means wake up, eat with intention, know what you're doing. How many times have you devoured something and didn't really remember the experience of even enjoying that food, right? Like you could eat this bag of chips or bag of cookies and thinking, oh, that was the other Steve that ate that. I don't really remember that going down. And so if you're going to choose food because you're going to eat this food anyway. And so choose what you're going to choose anyway. And so eating mindfully, eating with intention, and really finding pleasure in your food. Because then you're going to, again, reduce the stress response because you're eating it without guilt and stress.
Okay, I can do that.
Especially for the kids. The kids devour it, don't they? It's just like, slow down, please.
So, taking sips of air between bites, taking 5 deep breaths before your meals. You're starting off in a much calmer state. And the other thing is to front load your calories earlier in the day. Eating breakfast, enjoying lunch as your main meal, and don't skip meals, because when you skip meals, you're devoured at the next. You're so hungry at the next meal, and at dinner time, if you've not eaten all day, the best way to gain weight is to start eating late in the day and then eat right before bed. So you want to front load your calories earlier in the day. And you also want to hydrate with half of your ideal body weight in water. So starting your day with like 16 ounces of room temperature or warm water. You can do hot water and lemon for a little added cleansing benefit. But start your day with some water, because while you're sleeping, you're dehydrating. You're losing water because through just breath for those 7-8 hours that you're in bed. So we want to rehydrate our body first thing in the morning and stay super hydrated, because that's going to affect your energy. It's going to affect your cravings, and it's going to help you stay more satiated. And you'll eat a normal portion of food instead of overeating, because sometimes we think we're hungry but we're really thirsty.
Okay.
So that's an easy one.
Yep.
And the other tip is, when you look at your plate, make sure your plate consists of 50% colorful foods. And that means leafy greens, cancer-fighting shiitake mushrooms, colorful peppers, asparagus, broccoli, squash, sweet potatoes. Each color of these vegetables, mainly, and fruits, are loaded with phytochemicals. And they have very little calories, and they're power-packed with stress-reducing, anti-inflammatory compounds. So load up on the colors.
Okay.
The more veggies you eat, the less cake you're going to eat for dessert, because your brain and your head registers with the brain and your gut that you're nourished and you're fed with quality food.
Okay, that's easy.
Yeah, and then sleep. Sleep is huge. People don't realize poor quality sleep and not enough quantity sleep, because when you don't get enough sleep, and pay attention next time you don't sleep well, pay attention to your cravings, because not enough sleep causes your body to crave carbs and caffeine and energy that you don't have naturally because you haven't slept well. So poor sleep hygiene affects your sleep hormones, ghrelin and leptin, and those are your hunger and your satiety hormones. So, I invite you to notice your cravings and your hunger the next time you're not getting very good sleep.
It's interesting. I've been watching. My daughter is becoming more conscientious about eating, but
How old?
She's 13. She
Already?
says, yeah. I mean,
She was
the girl,
6.
I know.
Ava?
I know.
Doesn't it seem like
Ava's
that?
13. I know. She's like 13 going on 20 though, like all these kids. But so she does. She's for a while she's doing this thing, and it's the worst habit. Like, so how Karen, and it's an interesting thing is like what causes this craving. So you eat dinner, right? Mm-hmm. And whatever, you could do everything you just said, and then a half hour later she's like, I need a bowl of cereal. I mean, like that's a thing that you have this craving for, and we don't have like bad sugar, but virtually every cereal is, I don't think any cereal is particularly good. It's either all sugar or all carb and very little protein, there's nothing else really of any nutritional value typically. Most cereals, a big box cereal. I mean, you could find something, but you know what I'm saying. You walk through the aisle, 90% of them are things you probably shouldn't have on your shelf.
No, they're not whole grain.
Yeah, right. That's the biggest oxymoron ever. Yeah, so I guess, but it's this thing. It's like there's this craving. There's like this switch that's just like, I just got to have a bowl of cereal. And it's got to be just awful to do that, especially as your last thing that you do before you go to bed. It's got to put
worse than dessert?
Well, it's so hyperglycemic. It's hypoglycemic, right? It's just bad. It's from a physiology point of view. I mean,
well, yes, it's probably not helpful, but I would be really careful how you mention that with her.
I just lock her up and then ground her. Can't I do that? I can't ground her, you're saying?
Well, you don't want to make her feel bad about it.
I don't even say anything, and she figured it out herself. But
that's
anyway.
Good. Yeah, and that's interesting because we really want to learn about ourselves as eaters. And if we're craving carbs every night, we got to sit back and think, what's with the cravings? Are my macronutrients out of balance? Did I not eat enough throughout the day that I'm craving more of this? Am I feeling a little stressed about my homework, that this bowl of cereal is all pleasure and it makes me feel better while I take a break from my homework? So the eating psychology behind some of these cravings can be emotional and stress, and it can be just a macronutrient imbalance. So I would invite her to, that's interesting. This is really good. Let's check these cravings out and learn more about it.
Again, visiting with Karen Malkin. Karen does such a great job for us here on Sports Medicine Weekly, board-certified integrative health and eating psychology coach. I'm Steve Kashul with Dr. Brian Cole. It is Sports Medicine Weekly. All right, Karen, I also want you to tell us a little bit about your 14-day transformation pre-holiday fall cleanse.
So I have 3 14-day transformation programs. One is called the Foundations. The second one is called Master Your Metabolism. And the third one is called Toxin Takedown. And that's about how you can help reduce the chemical toxins in your body. The eating program, the diet is the same with all 3. The curriculum course, all 3 are different. So I recommend people start with the Foundations, and then when they're ready to do another reset, jumpstart, try one of my other programs.
So how have you changed it? How, is it when we did it, my first time I did it, it was...
the Foundation.
Yeah, and it was basically an online program. We had a couple calls with you, and then it was pretty straightforward. We had to get some stuff, and you really made it easy. So is it still packaged in that same way?
So the Foundations is more VIP. It's a little bit higher price because I FedEx the wellness bag to you. We have a half-hour call. We get to know each other. It's for people who are new to working with me. Once you've done these programs with me and you just want that quick jumpstart reset, there's a more virtual program, which is Master Your Metabolism and Toxic Takedown. But they both include the 14 days of daily emails with curriculum and topics around nutrition. And they both have a resource page, and they're just different exercises. One has a vision map, and one has, a meal plan, and they've all got recipes and
good
mindfulness. And, so they're similar. And just reach out to me, Karen@KarenMalkin.com, or my website, KarenMalkin.com, and we can get you on the right track.
All right, so here's what I learned.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I think you have a question. I can tell what I learned later. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you have a pressing question.
No, I just want to ask Karen, what is the key for someone doing a 14-day transformation? I did it, and I did pick up good habits.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
but
yeah.
That was, Karen, what's the key, though? People, they need to take away from this. Why do I want to do this? What can you tell them?
Well, you definitely create some new habits, and then at the end of the 14 days, you think about all that you've learned about yourself, and some of those takeaways, those 1, 2, 3 takeaways that you might have realized, boy, I was constantly snacking all day, because it's not a snacking program. We eat our meals, burn your own body fat between meals, no calorie counting, no portion control, just real food, suggested, eating seasonally. So you do create some new habits. You're eating real food. You are eliminating the sugar and gluten and dairy, and you're focusing on yourself, and you're making yourself a priority. And I think people really feel empowered. They lose weight, they feel great, they gain energy. I have worked with a few people to gain weight, but most people come to me for this because they're stuck on sugar, too much drinking, after the holiday or before the holiday, after Thanksgiving. I want to get in shape for winter break, January, anytime throughout the year that you feel like I need a jump start. I got to get back on track and with clean eating, because that's what it is. It's super clean eating. There's no... if you have a setback, it's actually a good thing. I encourage that, because that's how you learn about yourself, right?
All right.
Learn about, so there's no, punishment. It's really nourishing and giving to yourself versus depleting and take it away. I probably should take out the word cleanse, because people think, oh, I'm not eating, oh, no, I'm depriving myself, but it's really not like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a word thinking about, because there's this perception of cleanse, and it's used all over the industry, and what you do is it's a lot different. Cleanse implies, well, I'm going to do this pulsatile thing, and then I'm done, and I'm going back to the way I was before. But as Steve pointed out, I learned a ton of basic principles. I still do. I still do a lot of the exact same things. It was years ago. So it was, I would say, as you like to say, transformational for me, but got a great education. So what I learned, the stress issue, the 4-7-8 breath, which I would say, search it on YouTube. This is Weil's tutorial, right, on how to do that. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then, from the food, what I take away, half the plate veggies, take time, eat your meal, enjoy it, plenty of water, stay super hydrated. And how do you get all those colored foods? Shop the perimeter of the store, right?
Yep.
And meal skipping really doesn't work, because most of us just make it up for another meal and do it in the wrong way. And you're saying from a balance point of view, you'd rather do the higher loads, if you will, early in the day, and then balance it out later in the day.
Yeah, eat your meals and eat a lot of vegetables. I'm telling you, veggies are the key. They're going to help with cravings. They're going to fill you up. You're going to eat less junk food. You're going to feel good about yourself. It's all about the veggies.
All right. I'm in starting this week.
Okay.
You're the
Great
best,
stuff, Karen. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and look forward to speaking to you again sometime next month.
You too. Thank you.
Karen Malkin, our board-certified integrative health and eating psychology coach. Her website is KarenMalkin.com. Hey, before we go, Dr. Cole, we have the winner of the Dr. Brian Cole, MD campaign to like and follow on Facebook. And we've got a winner. It is Kathleen O'Phelan, winner of Bulls tickets, right?
That's right. Yeah, we had to do something to get people like me. So
I know that's great.
So
though.
Brian,
I saw it on Facebook and that.
Yeah, so it was a big hit, and so it's at Brian Cole, MD, our Facebook page, our ID, and she has won 2 tickets, courtside tickets to the Bulls game. So we're going to reach out to her and have her claim her seats. I look forward to meeting her.
Wonderful.
So I would encourage our listeners to go to Brian Cole, MD, our Facebook page, and like us and look for more contests.
Fantastic. We are out of time for this edition of Sports Medicine Weekly. Coming up next, Inside the Clubhouse with Bruce Levine and David Schuster. I want to thank Shane Reardon, our producer. Also, our coordinating producer is Teresa Ann Seeger. For Dr. Brian Cole, I'm Steve Kashul. Talk with you again next week, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll be back in the saddle here next Saturday, only on
670 The Score.